Steam is showing me 95 hours of the Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. A good chunk of that, probably half, comes from the early access gameplay. So here's to taking their 50 to 70 hour estimate and blowing that to smithereens. So how's this game faring? Let's start off with the voice acting. I am very surprised with how good it is. This is not a AAA title, not that those have great voice acting either. But if I were to compare this to something like Greedfall, or even what I've heard out of Greedfall 2, hats off to Questline and Awakened game. But nobody's perfect, so here are a couple of examples of horrible VO.
Seed, leftover fish, crumbs of everyday life. I want some good seed. I'd love some good seed. Not bad seed and fish bones, bitter, ugh, nasty. How much fish can you eat? Want good seed. Go away. Go, stupid human. Go. Why humans still here? Shoo, shoo, shoo.
Oi, what do you think you're doing here? This is my spot. I got here before dawn, so you better get lost, you miscreant. I don't need to explain anything, but you better explain why you're trying to steal my mushrooms. Oh, so now you're going to tell me you didn't know and that you were just passing by, huh? That actually sounds almost plausible.
The voice actor doing the chicken sounds like they got some really horrible direction. Someone said, do a weird accent, do some clucking, and pretend like you're a chicken. It really doesn't work. But Mushroom Guy sounds like one of the devs doing some placeholder VO and they just never replaced it. Or they just found a really bad actor. Fortunately, as I mentioned before, overall, the VO is quite good. How about those Zone? I have now progressed from the Horns of the South to Connacht. To its credit, it looks different. Not to mention, the enemies are much tougher. I've run into casters now using summons and higher level spells than just a fireball. It's nice for the challenge to get ramped up a little bit. It is not mind-blowingly hard, however, which is also very nice. I did, of course, spend an awful lot of time upgrading my gear, and I do have 21 on spirituality, so my spellcaster does have a little bit of oomph, and the major spellcaster enemies can provide a challenge, though I will say it is not hard, and I'm playing on the normal difficulty. And for an open world game, I'm actually happy about that. If I have to do a whole bunch of work out in that world, I don't want to have a 20-minute fight every time somebody comes near me. They do have a thing for purple flowers, however, and some of the flowers you need, like sage, are purple, so they can be a little hard to see at times. Well, how about something a little more story related? No spoilers. I have found that in two major story points, we don't have nearly enough information to really make a good decision. It's so bad that in one of the encounters, one of the major NPCs says, hey, sometimes in life you just don't have information and you gotta go with your gut. Sorry to break it to you, Questline, but this isn't the real world and I would want more information before I committed to any of these organizations. But if you want to do some quest lines, you gotta make a choice. And so far, I haven't seen where I can dig into the motivations of the organization I'm in and then have the opportunity to tell them to suck it. This may be coming up. I'm very early in all of these quest lines, but still. Critical need to know information is just that. And when you're neck deep in politics and intrigue of your virtual world, info would be nice. It would be very nice for this to be built into the quest where you can suss out information. I have a feeling this is another case of the developer wanting to be dark and edgy and nothing's clear. There's gray areas. And while I certainly appreciate the attempt, no information doesn't make it gray, it just makes it ambiguous. And unfortunately, if you'd like to opt out of either of these two major plot lines, well, one you can opt out of, one is actually the main plot line, you don't even have a good way of telling the people, I'm going to walk away from this. You're going to make a choice whether you want to or not. Next up, they have some bizarre, if not downright hilarious, encounters. Now, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but here as you enter Connacht, you're going to see this creature. What you do next will determine if you have to reload the game. Honestly, I didn't realize the bad thing had happened until I went to go mine some titanium. Imagine my surprise when I had no ability to do that. Not only was this funny and clever, it was rather realistic. Some things are just stupid to do in real life and in gaming. Along the same lines of that curious little encounter, be aware that day and night are very different. Obviously, you have the weirdness at night that can cause all kinds of issues, especially when bad guys try to kill you. The enemies are stronger. You might have the weird stalker show up. He's a pain in the butt to kill. But there are quests that are only available at night. Not only are they only available at night, you have to go find them. They're not marked on your map. There's nothing that tells you they're going to actually be there. You just run across them. Want to have a chat with a skeleton sitting on a cliff? You gotta go find him at night. Want to get a fishing pole from a kid fishing in a mud puddle? Go wandering around at night. I think this is a nice touch. It's not just a good way to go farm XP, because when you're at night, the enemies are harder and you do get more XP, as well as the very useful ethereal cobwebs. But now you have a reason to traipse around, find people, and find quest lines. And if you're looking for pumpkin seeds, you gotta do that at night. It's nice to see it more than just a combat mechanic. And finally, I'm going to gripe about my PC. Maybe I'll find out that my PC has more to do with this world than being a nobody from nowhere. But right now, I feel like only a vehicle for the actual story, not my story. For the days of yore when BioWare actually was a good company and they wrote stories about your PC. I do have some hope for Archetype Entertainment's Exodus. Most of their major folks, especially the studio head, James Olin, come from BioWare when they were in their heyday. And I even hold out a little hope for Bloodlines 2, as they repeatedly tell us the story is about you, your character Fire. Yes, I hate the name Fire, but if the story really is about my character, I'll live with it. Tainted Grail, on the other hand, it's not, at least now, about my character. And no, I'm not just being self-centered, because when the PC appears to have no stakes, no skin in the game, no dog in that hunt, no horse in the race. I'm going to stop those now. It gets harder and harder to continue, especially if the game drops off a little bit and it becomes more of a slog. If you at least feel your character is progressing somehow, it's a good motivator to keep going. Still, all in all, I'm having fun. How much longer that will last? Who knows? It's an open world game and sometimes things just fall off a cliff. But on a positive note, they are patching this game like crazy. Just after launch, they dropped a hotfix, which they followed up with a significant patch on Friday. Today, June 3rd, they dropped yet another hotfix, and they're promising a significant patch between now and Monday. But what do you think? Playing Tainted Grail? Give us your thoughts in the comments below. And if you like this content, why not give us a like and subscribe? Thanks for watching.